Ted Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers.
Ted Jones, I also call him the eighth wonder of the real estate world.
Ted Jones, who knows, it could be.
Ted Jones?
The Ted Jones World Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 21st episode of the Ted Jones World Podcast. I am your host, Ted Jones, and as always, we have our producer to the 45-degree angle of me over here, Pat Charmel. Pat, how are you,
what's
bro?
Up? What's going on?
We have a very special guest in the studio, but quickly before I introduce her, I wanted to talk about the IV doctor plug that Ricky was talking about last episode, man. He gave us the plug. So it's actually called the IV Doctor, and it is an app. And with the code Ted Jones World, you can get 5% off. They have packages ranging from $199 to $399. And a guy or girl will come to your house and put an IV in you and make you feel better. Check it out. And that is a great plug. Thank you so much, IV Doc. Remy Kassimir is here in the studio. Second comedian we have in a row. Remy, I've known you for 20 years. Remy is a hilarious comedian here in New York City. And Remy, hello.
Hello.
Sorry for that long intro,
no,
but
I'm so proud of you. I can't believe you have sponsors.
Oh
already.
yeah, you know what? A little bit. We got a first taste. You know, giving us a little bite of that. But Remy, you, in fact, yourself. Speaking of sponsors, I'm sure you have many with your sexual wellness podcast. Can I call it that? How come?
Yeah, I mean it's more
HOWCUM.
It's a comedy podcast, but also sexual wellness, and that's my first podcast I started, and it chronicles. I'd never had an orgasm, then I wanted to learn how, and so I was like, how am I going to figure this out? Podcasting. So yeah, that's what the whole podcast is about. So it follows my journey figuring out how to do that, and a lot of people have had orgasms following suit.
That's great.
Yeah, it's wellness, but also like it's funny. Like we try to.
No, absolutely. I've listened.
Yeah.
So how often is your sister on the podcast with you? I know your sister very well for 20 years now.
Sometimes she came on the first episode because at the time she was research assistant on Last Week Tonight on John Oliver's show.
Right. Yeah.
And like coming out as anorgasmic was like very embarrassing for me.
Okay.
Because like the second you say that to people, they like feel really bad for you.
Well, it's like a taboo too, right?
Right. Also, because like most women aren't talking about their orgasms to begin with. They weren't talking about masturbating or any of that stuff. And so when I came up with the idea for the podcast, I was like, hey, Charlotte, like, have you ever had an orgasm? She was like, yeah, alone, but like not with another person. And I was like, oh, okay. Could you maybe like find some stats on like how weird I actually am or how normal I actually am?
And this
like,
was this was probably like what, like 2.5 years
one.
ago, 3 years ago?
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So that first episode is like just chock full of research that she brought me, and then she would come back for like important episodes. She came and produced all of season 2 with me because she quit her job, and now she's going to be away for season 3 because she's going back to business school.
So was there like an aha moment in terms of like, okay, this is like a great subject, nobody touches on it, maybe I should just start a podcast on it? I mean, you had started to do comedy a little bit, and then like do you just get into the podcast flow or what?
No, so I started comedy like 5 years ago, and then I noticed a lot of comics were getting booked more because they had popular podcasts and they weren't necessarily such funny comics. They were just like fucking doing work.
Right.
I was like, hey, I'm funny. Like if I just have to start a podcast, like I'll do that. And initially I wanted to start something that's like really universal that everybody could relate to, everybody goes through. So I was like, death. We're going to talk about death or whatever. And my boyfriend was Ben, who you know very well.
Yes.
Was like, ooh, it's a little dark. Maybe noodle on it. Maybe see if there's something else that presents itself. And then like I knew I wasn't coming, and I had tried with a previous boyfriend when I had like a moment of reckoning that it was like, oh, other women are coming and I'm not. And then I was just like, we gave up because I was like, oh, this must not be for me. Like I thought we tried all the ways. And then when I was doing comedy, I would see all these women talk about their orgasms on stage, and afterwards, like Esther Steinberg specifically at my old bar show was telling a joke about like having 7 orgasms or something like that. And
in one setting?
Yeah. And I pulled her aside and I was like, oh, that joke about the 7 orgasms, that's hilarious. And she was like, that wasn't the joke part of the joke. And I was like,
that was the real part?
I was like, what?
What?
And then I was like, I don't think I've
7?
Yeah. Oh, no, I can do that now.
Wait, so just inherently people are supposed to be able to just orgasm on command. I mean, excuse me, females are not on command, but
No.
so all females should be able to, regardless.
No, I mean, I don't know about so what we have discovered through the podcast is that every person, not just a female, but most females, but most people are like a snowflake. You know, like they're very different. Everyone's different.
Right.
Where your clit is different. How your clit is located on the inside of your body.
I saw that when I saw you in your Netflix episode. I
Right.
learned something actually.
I know.
Remy's on Explained, and the episode's called Orgasms.
The female
the
orgasm.
female orgasm,
Yeah.
and Remy's. There's just a big picture of Remy on the Netflix screen. When you scroll down, I was like, all right, I
Sitting in
gotta
my
take a look at
bed,
this.
showing my feet,
So I
which
was
was
like-
a bad. That was bad.
No, you look good. And then I learned, dude, Pat, I don't know, I'm gonna bring you in here, but I learned that the clitoris is under a piece of skin on top of the vagina.
Oh, the hood.
I didn't know that.
informative.
Whoa, you didn't
Under
know
the
that
hood.
part? Okay, wait.
Well, I didn't know. No. I didn't know. I knew that it was
Okay, not to
vaguely
shame,
up
not
there.
to shame. But yes, there is no, and I actually thought the same thing. Like I'd always be like rubbing on the hood, and I'd be like, "This doesn't feel good. I don't get it." But actually, rewind before that, I didn't even believe in the clitoris. I thought because of all like we see in pop culture, sex is a man puts his penis in a vagina, then suddenly both of them are like exploding and
Right,
screaming,
right,
and
right.
that's how. And you think that penetration is how it's going to happen for women. I didn't believe in the clit. Whenever somebody was like, "Oh yeah, it's all about the clit," I'd be like, "That tiny bump? No way, that's gross." And so when I was practicing coming, I would just be shoving shit up my hole all the
just
time,
like whatever.
which is like not what you do.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so then in that episode, you also learned that the clitoris is not just that little bump. In fact, it goes 4 inches back into the body.
Right.
It straddles the vaginal opening. So women who can, quote unquote, come vaginally, they're not actually having vaginal orgasms. Their clitoris legs are closer to the orgasm, their clitoris legs are closer to the vaginal walls. So the penis is rubbing up on the clit from the inside.
I hope you guys are taking notes.
Yeah, no, you should be. And also, only 8 to 25% of vulva owners can have an orgasm from just penetration alone. Everybody else needs external stimulation.
Wow, these are some serious stats over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remy just coming through with the doctor tips too.
Your face
Full
already
of
looks like your mind is
gynecologists.
blown.
I
It's
mean,
just
dude,
like-
I didn't know any of this. Like, I haven't had
Nobody
nearly as much
nobody
sexual
does.
experience. It sounds.
No, but I thought I was the perfect person to start my podcast too, because I'm round the clock horny. Like I feel like I've always been doing, like even when we were young kids, like how horny was I?
So okay, I think we need to just take a step back. So the reason I've known Remy for 18 years,
You
right?
say 18, I think it's 20.
Is it 20?
Like I feel like
20,
I
it
met-
might, yeah,
I
it
feel
might
like
be
I met
20.
you
I'm
when you were,
28
like,
right
6.
now, or yeah. So in between 20 and 22 years, Remy and I went to the same day camp.
Yep.
And every single summer, literally for the, for from age 8 to age 22, I'd see
Yeah.
Remy.
Yeah.
And now I'm still very tight with Remy. Pat wondering how we're so close. And I'm just so happy that Remy
Because
could come on the Ted Jones World podcast and just give us some sex tips,
Yeah.
give some
Sex
life tips.
Yeah, no,
Literally,
I like that we have woven in and out of each other's lives and like always come back.
it's very cute.
It's really cute
It's
and really
great.
nice. And Julio loves to bring it up too. Like
Right.
every time we're in a big setting with like a bunch of comics, he's like, "I've known Remy longer."
Which you probably have. Not longer
Not
than
longer
me,
than
though.
you.
Not
No,
longer.
you're number one.
Not longer than me. Numero uno. Okay, so like starting a podcast with that name.
Yeah. Ugh.
So like, I mean, just at family occasions or anywhere that like, you'd expect somebody to give you some negative feedback or like, oh, what's
Oh,
she
I
doing?
don't-
Like, you just didn't give a shit.
No, I really did. I mean, the name is so different from what I was actually exposing about myself. Like it could have been called anything, but the fact that I was saying like, yeah, I haven't had an orgasm, that was like the tough hump to get over. But the name, like my family doesn't care about the name. Like my parents are medical professionals. They think I'm
Right.
doing like a great job.
Totally, which you are,
Thank
of
you.
course.
But the name does get us not as much advertising as I would like. We can't advertise on Facebook. We're shadow banned on Instagram sometimes.
No, but I see. I mean, there are a number of. I don't want to say specifically, but like dildo companies that like you'd pair up with, or sex toy companies, right?
on Facebook.
No. I mean, for your podcast.
Oh yeah.
You know, like giving you deals and
Of
stuff
course.
like that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I've got
there's definitely a
fucking
platform.
thousands of sex toys in
Yeah.
my room.
Oh my god,
It's
amazing!
insane.
You need to bring one back on. bring one back on the
It's
podcast.
insane. And there's so many different types, which is, I think, one of the reasons why I didn't come in the first place, because the thing that does it didn't exist. Like, I remember when I was a really little kid in health class, like we learned about like, you know, guys have boners and like they're gonna have them all the time.
Yeah.
And, like, it's so embarrassing and stuff, and like they need to come all the time, and blue balls is a thing or whatever. But you're never hearing about like the female side of it.
Right.
And I would always think in my like little like 5th grade head, I'd be like, damn, if you could see my boner, it would be so embarrassing because I have one constantly.
Right.
And now I know that the clitoris really is the same embryonic tissue as a penis. It's the same exact tissue before your gender is decided.
Yeah.
That's what it comes from.
Wait, so does it get hard too?
Yes.
Like it sticks out like
Yes.
a full boner?
Yes.
This is crazy shit that like I have no idea. Like I feel like everyone knows about the boner for the most part.
Right.
And nobody has any idea about the vagina.
No.
Right?
Well, yeah, the vagina is technically just the hole.
Yeah, so,
The
like
vulva
there's
is the whole
there's
thing.
3 separate parts, right?
Sure.
Clitoris, vulva, and the vagina. Is that
No. That's like saying human, head, and arm. No, the vulva, the human, is made up of the vaginal opening, the clitoris, the mans pubis, which is like the top of the hood, the labia majora, and the labia minora. Lips,
Menorah,
smaller lips.
like Hanukkah.
Inside. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to this back and take full notes.
No,
I'm like, I'm
you know what you have to
maintaining like
do?
some of
No,
this.
No,
We're
no,
taking
no.
that down.
You have to listen to How Come. I mean, this episode's great. It's just like a little teaser, but the whole thing with How Come.
Which episode? Plug it.
Episodes 1 through 6, season 1
Okay.
are my journey of learning how to come. So
Okay.
I would have people on. I still have everybody come on. They tell me about their first time coming.
Yeah.
But in those first episodes, I was really goal oriented because like, so after I talked to Esther after that comedy show, I was
Yeah.
like, what do I do? And she was like, oh, you need to masturbate for like 30 minutes. And I would kind of give up on whatever assignments people would just give me externally because I was like, I feel so broken. I feel so like weird. This isn't going to happen for me. And then when I was like, oh, I'll just podcast it and that'll keep me accountable.
Wait,
Like, I'll
podcast? What do you mean? That like you your efforts?
They'll tell me the assignment and then the next one I have to have done the assignment and talk about it after.
Right.
So you couldn't just give up because people had like it, like, I don't know. I really need external accountability.
Right. No, totally. Absolutely. I mean, you say you're going to do something, then if people are expecting you to do it, you got to do it. Right.
So, the first 6 episodes are people coming on, giving me those assignments, me having to do them, and then I tell you about them. So, and they worked. And now like 400 women around the world have had their first orgasms from following those same
that's great.
steps.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And a lot of people have like learned how to give their partners orgasms and like a lot of like fucking, I don't know, stress has been lifted from
Right.
people. Like I used to get really mad at Ben specifically
Your boyfriend,
because
right?
I was like, you're not making me come, which is so unfair to do to somebody. It's like being like,
Well, it's like he was uneducated
but
maybe about
I've
it.
never made me come. Like Ben and I have known each other since I was 25, but what about those 25 years that I was existing with me? You know, it's like kind of rude expecting somebody to make something happen that's even, it's like, hey, here's this 9-sided Rubik's Cube. I've never figured it out. You try it. Also, you're naked.
Right. and it's also just like something that like, you know, for the most part, I feel like males in general really are not that educated about.
No,
you know
the
what
whole
I mean?
system is fucked up. The educational system is fucked up
Right.
because it's like,
in general, yeah.
it's the patriarchy. I mean, no, but it literally is the patriarchy. And like, we just need more like equal distribution of education.
Does anyone in your family come to you, you know, asking like for advice or anything like that?
My
Or
my family rules at sex.
Uh-huh.
I go to them for advice. I found out that several family members were squirters before I
Oh my
did.
goodness.
So then I was prepared when I did.
How many, like, what's the percentage of females that are squirters?
There's not enough info. None of these things have been studied enough
Uh-huh.
because they haven't been taken seriously for
Well,
a
how does
very
it, how
long
does it, how does
time.
it fully even, how does that even happen?
Squirting?
Yeah, like, and is it like as dramatic as like a,
It depends on
water
the
gush?
person.
Uh-huh.
Some of my listeners have squirted without coming. I've done that before.
uh-huh.
Some of them need a toy to do it. Some of them need internal like G-spot stimulation. It's literally everyone is so different, and that's basically the whole conclusion of the podcast. Is that like it's not about what do girls like or what do boys like. It's about asking your person that you're with and saying, is this good for you? Do you like specifically this? Do you like it softer? Do you like vibration? Are you more of a suction person? Are you more of like a hard surfaces person? Like there's so many different things that go into it. And it's really like Emily Morse, Dr. Emily Morse, she has the longest standing sex podcast ever. She says sex is between the ears, not between the legs. And it's literally just getting to know that other person.
Right. I also feel like, I mean, there's definitely been situations where I've been with someone for, a few months and like they're just really, it still like isn't really fully comfortable as opposed to like maybe a person that I've been with way shorter was more comfortable or just like how it happened to work out, like if the communication wasn't there, like there was never really a time that I've never really fully been in a relationship or with someone where I feel like I could be like, okay, do it like that. Or like, yes, do it like this. Or I can be like, oh, I'll do it like this.
I think everybody needs to make it like
well, but
part of a one night stand.
Right. But I don't think,
making sure the other person's having fun.
True, but I just feel like I don't know. I don't know if I could ever like fully just break down something, just be like, oh, how should I do? Because it's just like very vague, especially on like a one night stand. It's like, oh yeah, babe, like oh yeah, like oh yeah, babe, like oh yeah, like very standard. You know what I mean?
You'll call them babe on a one night stand, but you want to ask them if they like the lick of the clip.
No, neither one. But I think it's just like. Yeah, there's definitely a whole hole missing.
A whole hole.
There's a whole like segment missing on, the female anatomy down there for sure. Like for the most part, it's just like, it's pretty straightforward to get a guy to orgasm, whatever. You just, stroke the pole or whatever. And it just
stroke the pole. Yeah, there you go.
You know what
some
I mean?
of them.
So it's just,
some of
what
them.
do you mean?
The other thing is like, I've had a lot of guys come on who like, one of my friends can't come from blowjobs. He's two in his head. One of my friends couldn't come from sex until somebody licked his balls.
But it probably also depends on the BJ you're getting, I would think theoretically.
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm telling you.
Well, how many BJs has he gotten? And he's like, dude,
I'm telling you. These are people. They are real people. And it's another thing that like kind of sets like a lot of guys back is to expect that every guy can get off the same way.
Right.
Because then it makes the guys
that's exactly that's what I just expected. Exactly.
Feel
just
uncomfortable.
Like, yeah. Right.
Yeah. Or like I've had people on who,
sure.
Because guys are supposed to like, not supposed to, but in past, they've been expected to just want to fuck all the time. Right. So
guys.
Like, guys just want to fuck. That's like their thing. And I've had guys be like, yeah, sometimes I don't, but because that narrative is in my head, I'll like force myself to have sex with people. And I'm like, that sucks.
No, that's terrible.
For you.
Honestly, yeah. I feel like there was probably, a time in my life, maybe I was going through a breakup or I had felt that like, okay, this is just like what I need to do. I need to go out, I need to get wasted, and I need to go home with a girl. Like, I feel like within like the last year and a half or whatever, since I had jaw surgery, it's just been like a whole thank you. It's just been like a whole different narrative.
Great for cunnilingus.
So it's just like I'm definitely at a time where I'm just like not worried about doing that. But there's so many of my buddies who just get caught up in like the mix, like, oh, we gotta bang chicks, bang chicks. It's Saturday, like gotta get wasted, gotta go chase, and blah blah blah. And like so many people that I still even know.
That like in a relationship, I'd be like, oh, the guy's going to be so much hornier than me. I can't fucking wait.
Which is like not even the case.
Not true in either of my relationships. I'm like the way hornier one. I'm always initiating. And I used to get really offended by it too. Cause I was like, what the fuck? I must be disgusting if a guy is not constantly.
That happened to me. That happened to me.
But it's not, it happens to a lot of people. It's just, it sucks to get pigeonholed.
I know, especially when like I'm giving the excuse that's like a valid excuse, when I'm tired, like I'm tired, but like no joke, I actually am tired.
Yeah.
And I'm also like my sex drive is not there. So it's like 70% tired, 30% my sex drive not being there.
It sucks because like when I was with my ex, I would just expect, all of my sexual fulfillment's going to come from him. So if he doesn't want to fuck, I'm just not going to get fulfilled. Now I just put my little toy on. Ben sits next to me. And eventually he joins in.
So you went to Riverdale school in upper New York, I'd say. And then
the Bronx.
And then went to BU.
Yeah.
So was there like what were you like, what was your goal in terms of like going to BU? What'd you major in?
I didn't have a goal. I majored in art and architectural history, or dinner conversation, as my dad says.
Right.
I should not have gone to college. I don't think it was like a very useful step for me. I kind of always knew I wanted to do comedy, and I wish I had the fortitude to just do that, because I had been wanting to do it since I was like 14.
Right.
But I was like, I'm just gonna follow like the Upper East Side girl path.
Right. And
go to
also,
college.
also just like, talking about that, it's also like really hard to get your parents like voice out of your head, from the ages of like 8 to like 17. Like you're going to college. There's no shot that you're not, going to college.
It's not even
when you
just
have
your
something
parents.
like that.
It's like the world that we grew up in. Like there wasn't anybody who didn't go to college unless they were like a fucking failure.
Right.
There wasn't like the culture of like, oh, you go and you try to do your dreams. It was like, no, you get a banking, doctor, or like lawyer job.
Right.
Or you marry well. And honestly, that was something that was kind of instilled in me too. That was like, you go to college to get your MRS.
Well,
Do you know what an MRS is?
No, what's that?
Your missus.
What's that?
Like instead of a degree,
Your missus? Oh, you marry someone
marry.
rich?
Yeah.
Oh, it's effed up.
It's fucked up.
So you were dating some guy when you were at Boston, right?
Yeah,
Who's that?
Second half of my senior year, I had my first boyfriend.
That was your first boyfriend.
That was my first boyfriend.
So, what were you, 22 years old?
21. Yeah.
21, senior year
Late bloomer.
of college.
Yeah.
And then after that, you met Benny.
Yeah.
And then you've been with him ever since. Benny DeMarco, great kid. Shout out, Benny. My
Great guy. Yeah. I actually, I went to a comedy show trying to fuck another comic, and then Ben was hosting.
And you were
I was
like,
I'm
all
gonna
right.
fuck that guy.
You're like, all right, he will do.
Yeah.
Remy Kassimir, thank you so much for joining us for episode 21. This is terrific, Pat. 2 comedians in a row. We had Ricky Velez last week.
Yep.
Now we got Remy Kassimir this week.
See, I feel like Ricky was probably much more funny because I just talked
No,
about science.
you know what? No, we're learning so much
Yeah.
here. Ricky and I were just chopping up. Yes, I learned about a lot about his life, but I don't think that's going to do much in my life. This episode's going to do a lot
Yeah,
more in my
seriously.
life. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so it is that time of the episode, Pat and Remy, where we do our weekly segment called
Don't do that.
It is called Don't Do That. And this is a situation where if you get pissed, you got to let us know. So, Remy, Pat, who wants to start off over here? Anything you guys have seen in the last week that is annoying, that somebody is just not using their morals correctly, not using their head correctly, whatever it is, but it was something weird and they shouldn't do that. Pat, you want to start us off
Sure,
over
I'll
there?
start us off.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so, well, this is like, it's a both don't do that and like kind of maybe do that.
And a golf
Yeah.
clap to you.
Yeah,
after the don't do that.
exactly. So I was out actually today. I was walking by. I was like running errands, and I walked by this dentist office that's in my neighborhood, and it's like a very nice waiting room. And I always just kind of like peer into the waiting room while I'm walking by. And today I saw that there was. So in the waiting room, there's a corner with like refreshments, and they had coffee, like a Keurig, and then they had like a bowl of like soda, of like
What is like the
cans of soda.
bowl of soda? Was
Yeah.
there ice in it?
No, there was just a bowl, like a serving bowl of like soda, of like Diet Coke and Sprite. And I was like, that's ridiculous that they should be like promoting tooth health, like dental care, and then they have soda sitting there.
Also the bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no ice
But
in the
then-
bowl?
No. And then I realized,
So
like,
don't do that
that's
in itself.
Yeah, it's a genius move because, like, you're sitting there, like, rotting your teeth while you're waiting for the dentist.
Oh,
so then
yeah.
they can, like, go and charge you to fill your cavities.
Oh yeah, there was a kid who I went to school with, and his dad was like the orthodontist to everybody, and he would constantly remind us. He'd be like, "Your teeth paid for my school."
Oh my God, Pat! Thank you for
That's
that.
a savvy business
Don't
move,
do that.
you know?
That is. So that's like
Rot your teeth while you're waiting to get them
like,
clean.
Like as we were saying, don't do that. But low key golf clap
So
for the
need to
dentist over there.
you should,
Nice work.
Stop, lay back on the sweets and the soda, and you're like, it's in your waiting room.
All right, Remy over here. Remy got one for us. Do not
Okay.
do that.
So mine's a little obnoxious, because it's like for podcast listeners.
These are
Perfect.
the podcast
Don't do
listeners.
this. No, I met a girl after a show. Ben and I were performing in Atlantic City recently. And
Was that last weekend? I saw you guys with her.
Was that last weekend? I don't
With Adam Glenn?
All the days are blended.
Shout out
Yes,
Adam
it was with
Glenn.
Glenny. So this girl and her husband, they really enjoyed the show. They wanted to come out with us after. Ben loves to party with the fans after. And I like to too. I like to like get to know people. But she was just like, she kept saying like slightly anti-Semitic stuff to me because
Why? Because you have Jew jokes.
Because in my
Yeah.
in my jokes talk about being Jewish and stuff and
Right.
whatever. And she just kept saying like, wow, I can't believe you're Jewish. Your nose is so great. And I was like, the nose is fake. The nose is fake. Fuck you. But yeah. And then she'd say, like, I have a joke about how I still like live off my dad or whatever, which isn't entirely true. It's a joke.
Yeah.
And she goes, wow, so what's it like to like just like live off someone else's money? And like, that must be really nice and stress free. And like, just like, don't take our
Don't do that, you bitch. That's rude.
Okay, and
Wait, where was she from?
Well, that's the thing is Atlantic City. And like,
Nice.
you know, like they don't know a
Fresh
ton
out
of
the Borgata.
Joes.
Oh my goodness.
Fresh out the Borgata. No, the Borgata is too nice for this couple. Ben and I kept saying they were like the ugly version of us. They were like the Atlantic City version of us. That's rude. I'm sorry. But they said it too.
They said it too. Oh my God.
So then she messages me, hey, I found you and your podcast on IG. Now, if I could only figure it out like I wasn't a 90-year-old grandma. Do you not have Google? What is wrong with you? I need to stop accidentally hearting pictures when I just want to look more closely. So now she's taking back all the likes she just gave me. Nice meeting you Saturday. Sorry we were so drunk. Good luck with life.
That's
like,
kind of tough.
She knows.
Well, just like, you know what, that in general, I think is a fine maybe message to send, but not after the stuff you were telling me initially in person.
Right.
Good luck with life, bitch.
Yeah,
What?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not like a don't do, but yeah,
No, don't do that. Just don't be rude.
Don't be rude. And
Easy at don't do that.
And then just don't message people about things that you could Google.
And don't take back likes, okay?
Yeah, it's like a very passive aggressive DM.
Yeah, it was like, I just
Jesus.
wanted to see you closer. I didn't actually like the I'm like, okay.
How old were they also? Because that's such a grandma move to
Our
like
age.
the picture.
Our age, but
She was
with
just
two
definitely
kids.
wakes. She's like, oh, these pictures are
Yeah,
sick.
I don't actually like you. Good luck with life. I can't find your podcast. Goodbye.
That's so strange.
Jew.
Brutal. Okay.
You fucking Jew.
I have like an annoying one over here that everyone I feel like would find absolutely annoying. Okay, so I took the luxury. I had the luxury of taking an Uber yesterday. Excuse
la
me.
la la la.
And I hop in the Uber, and the Uber driver is like, "Hey man, like, you know, do you mind if I make a call really quick?" I was like, "All right, sure, whatever, no problem." This guy hops on the phone and is speaking for 20 minutes.
Was it a good combo?
No, he starts speaking in Hindi. I don't want to say.
fuck.
If I say speaking in Indian, that's not racist?
Well,
You know what? Because that's like saying speaking American. I feel it is actually like saying that. And there's more people in India,
so you
like,
just look dumb.
right. If I say speaking Indian, but I was speaking Hindi.
Yeah.
But it was very annoying. Don't speak for 20 minutes when you're just asking to hop on your phone with your boy.
Also,
sorry, that
tell
really
us
grinded my
that
gears.
You're gonna not be speaking in a language that we can. Like, I'm happy to listen to somebody's long conversation if I can listen in. I love to drop leaves. Love to know about what's going on in your life. But if I can't understand the language,
But isn't there also that? What's the? Do they have the? If you can talk to someone in the back seat, do they give you that option yet on Uber? Has that come out yet?
What is that?
I thought,
Do you-
I thought they did. Uber came out with that.
Yeah,
No?
well, I haven't seen it. Like, if you can decide if you want to have a conversation with your passenger in the back, or you want to keep quiet. So that's not even out yet. I had heard about it. I would have said
Uber
no.
anymore.
What do you use?
Lyft. Yeah.
Is Lyft better?
I don't know. I just
The
stopped.
pink mustache freaks me out.
They don't have them anymore. It's mostly
They don't?
Yeah, they don't. I don't think a lot of
They
people
just
liked
put it.
it.
They
just
it's
have the
weird.
little
They just
thing
put it in
thing.
the
in the
window.
dash
window.
Yeah.
Board.
Yeah, it's cute though because sometimes they'll light it up a different color so you can know what car
Right.
it is.
Right. Uber does that too. Very cute. Very cute.
Very cute. I love anything cute. Just small cute things like a small Listerine bottle. Adorable.
Oh, right. From like the
Small
Dwayne
Vaseline.
Reed
Yeah.
travel pack.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I had an Uber driver the other day that
Exactly.
was he had his iPad up on the dashboard and he was watching like a
Moana.
yeah.
You sure that wasn't a Tesla, bro?
No, exactly. But he had it up on the dashboard and he was watching like speaking another language, he was watching like linguistic videos, like learning other like the history of
that's
other languages
cool.
while he was driving.
That's cool.
I've never seen anything
Maybe
like that before.
it's, doing schooling and
Yeah,
driving.
man, he's trying to get his NBA or something. We're
Right.
driving.
However, if we've watched Doctor Strange, and I think we all have.
About what? Which particular episode of Doctor Strange?
No, Doctor Strange. The
Who's
movie.
Dr. Strange?
What?
Oh.
You're not a
What's
Marvel
Doctor
guy?
Strange?
I've
No,
never
not
seen it.
really. You've never seen it?
Really? Oh, well, Doctor Strange, his whole thing is he injures his hands because he's trying to work on his car while driving or whatever,
okay.
and then he has to become a superhero. And it's
How do
real-
we
it's a great
not know
movie.
this?
I'm not a Marvel. I'm not a superhero
No
movie guy.
Avengers?
Remy,
No, never seen Avengers.
Okay.
Remy, so tell us about your weekly show on Sundays at The Stand.
Oh, I love my weekly show on Sundays at the Stand. It's
Called Bacon Bits.
Yeah, it's every Sunday, 3:00 at the Stand. We give away free bacon. People are doing bits. It's like a straight up good old fashioned comedy show. I pick all the comics, so it's just a really fun time for me. And yeah, people get wasted because we've got like drink specials and stuff, and they forget it's daytime. And everybody
Right.
walks out into the light of day, gets like hit by a car. It's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Buy an Uber
The
watching
last part
linguistic
is, like,
videos.
Amazing. Yeah. All right, I'm coming this Sunday. You
Oh
got
my
me
God,
hooked.
please do.
So everyone go to The Stand. The Stand is at 116 East 16th Street
Yep.
in Union Square.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking at
You're looking
Pat
at me
to
like I
confirm.
know.
He has no idea, but I do. Terrific. 1 second.
Okay.
We just cut back before that after the terrific.
Okay.
What are we at?
34.
Okay.
How do you go? How long do you go? Like an hour?
No, right around now, like 40, 45.
That's it?
45. What else do you want to talk
That's
about?
so sad.
What else do you want to talk about?
I
It's been flowing. It's been flowing, Rems. You want to talk about, life and such a little bit more?
I mean, this week has been very annoying for me. I feel very stagnant currently. I don't know how you feel in your comedy career because like you're so new.
yeah.
But there's sometimes you just get in these like little ruts. And this one is like not even one that I can do anything about because I'm just like sick. Like I'm not contagious anymore. Don't worry. But like I've had bronchitis this week. I fucking coughed so hard I cracked a rib. And
Oh
so
my
I
gosh.
feel
Yeah.
like,
Remy said this before she got on that episode.
Yeah.
Poor girl. Oh, yeah.
I think it's also why I haven't been as funny because I'm like, don't laugh, girl.
Just
Don't,
giggle. Just smile.
fucking keep it
Just
chill.
smile.
But yeah, I feel like super depressed because like I'm just on Instagram all day, like seeing all my other friends like go to their shows and do their podcasts and stuff. And like, I wasn't going to cancel tonight because like,
Good.
yeah,
We would have
'cause
missed
we're
you.
friends.
Good.
but also this is like a selfish thing to like make me feel good that I'm like doing stuff
Good.
again. But yeah, I don't know. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like
you know what?
Like it
Honest-
must be tough for you because you've started so late.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I think that like I'm at a point right now where I've had to kind of maybe balance just like kind of what I do during the day and such and, what I want to do at night. So I guess just initially thinking about balancing that was like a little rattling for me.
Yeah.
But now it's just like
You still
I'm just
have your
gonna.
day job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
I'm still just like, going out and like, every night kind of just trying to contribute something to, whatever I like doing, whatever,
Yeah.
if it's like podcast, gym, stand up or whatever. But, yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, even initially just like doing my first, few sets, like 10 sets or whatever it
You
is.
didn't
Like
want me to come see you.
there's definitely some times where like, I could just get like shook up there. You know what I mean? Especially when it's like your first time, but like, I don't get nervous anymore, which is great. Like even if I go up there and
Really?
like even if I like quote bomb or whatever, like I just still feel like I'm feeling more comfortable up there.
Oh, that's
and
not
I
good.
think that what do you mean? I think that
You should be terrified
be
every
shitting
time you get
yourself
on
every
stage,
time.
and after you get off stage, even if you crush, you should feel like you bombed.
Well,
that is the comics way.
Yeah, you're already getting comfortable. It's
I
been
think
like
that
3 months.
no,
Yeah.
but you know what? I think that like I'm at a point where like it took so much for me to just finally fucking do it
Yeah.
that like I think all of like maybe the really nervous feelings and shit that I had in the past were like there, and now I'm just kind of
You're
trying to
over
move
the hump.
forward. Yeah, trying to.
Yeah.
And just kind of finding out like which jokes can hit. Because
Yeah.
also like I sometimes feel awkward if like I'm at Laughing Buddha doing like an open mic and I see some of the same people that saw me like 2 days ago.
Right.
I'm like, fuck, okay, I'm gonna basically do the
I
exact same
know.
set.
Well,
you know?
I have repeat people who come to Bacon Bits every single week,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, fuck you. Like I'm so
Right.
happy that like you're here to support me.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, oh, do I have to tell another joke? Do I have to work on some stuff?
So
Which
how
is
often are you?
good.
But how? So you're recycling for the most. Like, are you telling like a different set, trying to do a different set every night, and then
No.
be like, this is my sweet spot?
No, I have like 5 minutes that I'll usually like. That's like, sure, the sweet spot or whatever, and then I'll try to work in new stuff, like sandwich it between old stuff, so that like, if I have old stuff that's guaranteed, then I'll put the new.
And if the new bombs, then like you
move on
have
to
the
the
old
old.
stuff
Yeah.
that just like works like clockwork.
But
right.
what I realized is that a lot of people, and myself included, like we like to hear the jokes that we've heard over and over again. I can listen to Dane Cook's Harmful If Swallowed a million times, and I know that he's not like a comic favorite, but he is one of mine. And I love that. It's like listening to your favorite hits.
Yeah.
Right,
And
right. Interesting.
There was one night recently I was at Barber Shop. Have you done that show?
Yeah.
That
No,
show
I haven't done it, but
rocks.
I went with Julia multiple times.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's like an intimate
Someday
show
you
next
will.
to a black cat, like 15 chairs in there.
Yeah,
like
in
little
a barber
couch.
shop. It's a barber shop during the day. They clear it out. It's a lit comedy show. And I was telling some joke about an IUD, which is one of my favorite jokes. And this guy in the first row starts like vigorously nodding his head. And I was like, this guy fucking loves his IUD. And then he's like, no, I've heard this joke before. And I was like, oh, from me? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to tell it again. He goes, no, I love it. Tell it again. So then I did. And then afterwards I was like, how was that? He's like, it's great. You changed it. And I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, so
That's amazing.
like nervous in that moment,
Right.
but also like really happy. But yeah, so it's like a weird thing when you start getting like angry at your fans for coming back too many times.
Right.
Fucking, I need more time to write new jokes. But then they're like, no, it's good.
They love
You're
it.
Fine.
It's
Yeah.
great. And I feel like it's also just like your delivery too is great. And if you just change like a couple words here and there, it's like makes
Yeah.
it like a completely new
I
joke.
didn't even
kinda.
know that I had changed it.
Yeah. Like it's just like a couple
kid
words
knows
here
me
and
better
there.
than I know
Yeah,
myself.
literally. He's yourself. He's in your head.
Yeah, I need to start going back to mics though, because I feel like that's like.
Oh my God, will you come with me? That'd
would
be so
love to.
fun. That'd
Yeah.
be great. I'm
It's
doing
like going to the gym.
so I'm doing an open I go in the morning. You say me stop going?
No. I'm saying it's like going to the
you're
gym.
like you gotta stop going to the gym.
No. You got to go to the it's the
Gotta
comedy,
do both.
comedy gym.
The comedy gym. Yeah, get
Yeah.
those comedy weights up.
Get those
I'm
reps in.
doing Laughing Buddha Wednesday night. So it is Thursday today as we drop this.
Mm-hmm.
So it will have happened yesterday. So hopefully I killed it.
Yeah, hopefully I came too.
Yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
Remy was there too. She
You did, man.
some
It was
new material.
dope.
You like
It was
that,
awesome.
Pat? Thank
Yeah.
you, brother. But I'm gonna be doing that shit a lot. So check the IG, tedjonesworld@gmail.com. You guys have some questions for Remy. If you guys want to ask her anything, just anything sexual, questions about her past, whatever you want to know what Pat's doing over there, email us, tedjonesworld@gmail.com. Hit me up on IG at tedjonesworld and Remy's Instagram, of course, at Remy Kassimir,
Yeah.
REMYKASSIMIR.
Damn.
Nice.
It's
Like
like
that
you're in the
shit.
That was
family.
good.
Yeah. Well, I have known you for 20 years. It's
Yeah,
like
follow me
we've
on
known
Twitter,
each
too.
other
It's my new
since the-
thing.
Yeah, so I see you screenshotting it and then posting it on IG.
It's my new thing.
Funny stuff.
Twitter is so
Thank
much better
you.
than Instagram.
Is it?
I love
honestly,
Twitter.
It really is. And
Yeah.
I used to, this sounds like really conceited, but I used to think as a good looking girl, I would
Yeah,
do
yeah.
better on Instagram.
Well,
And-
you got to post more bikini shots, right?
But that's the thing is
Thirst traps.
I'm in this like weird middle ground of like not hot enough for Instagram and also not ugly enough for Brave. You know?
Oh my gosh! But like what? But in the comedy world, you're 99th percentile. No.
Fucking murder. Oh, I'm the hottest
Easy.
girl in comedy. Are you
Easy,
kidding?
yeah. Top one.
Hottest
Top
girl in your
one.
improv class for sure.
Literally, Remy and I were talking about improv. Also, I'm in the advanced improv class at UCB. Remy was like, "Teddy, like comedians don't respect improvers," and I was like, every
no,
time
but-
I've talked to a comedian, they'd be like, "Whoa, like I can never do that."
You need to back it up. Back it up. I started in improv. Okay, I was saying it from a place of love.
Right.
And I was saying a lot of stand-ups don't respect improv, which is true.
I wonder why. Why?
They think it's easy, and also most improv is bad.
That's
good
true.
improv is
Yeah.
amazing.
That's
Yeah.
true. Good
Bad
improv is amazing,
improv
and bad is bad.
I actually started doing. I got good at stand-up because my improv team had a monthly show, and when I started telling them, "Oh, I want to do stand-up," they go, "Oh, you can do 10 minutes at the top of our show." And then practice and stuff, and doing stand-up in front of an improv audience, what a treat. Because an improv audience is expecting
Yeah.
pure shit.
Yeah.
No, I feel like I got to get really good at stand-up because I started doing stand-up in front of improv audiences, and improv audiences don't expect anything good. So they're very excited when there's something actually is good. So I got to do like my first, like I got to do 10 minutes of stand-up before all of my improv shows, which is crazy. As like you do like maybe 5 at a mic or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe 2,
Yeah.
maybe 3. Like I used to go to 2 3-minute mics, and then you can do 10 full minutes in front of like an audience.
Where'd
like,
you take classes?
UCB.
Fun.
I started
Shout
at the
out
pit,
UCB.
and then I went over to UCB. Yeah,
Cool.
love both.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Shout out UCB. Have a great time over there. Pat, anything interesting going on this weekend, pal?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing ever.
You're full
is
of it.
interesting.
Pat won't budge about telling us anything about his love life. Maybe you can get something out of him over there.
Nope.
I mean, is that what the fans want? They
Yes.
wanna know
I don't think
Pat's
so.
love
Yes,
life?
you know what? I think that they would like to know. Kind of, Pat is just very mysterious. You know, he's the producer on the show.
Yeah.
He's behind the camera a lot of the time. His voice is heard a ton on the pod.
He's got a good voice.
But
for pods.
yeah, he
Thank you.
does, and he's got a good face for camera too.
Yes, he does.
That's true.
Thanks
Pat,
so much.
are you in entertainment otherwise, or you just do this?
I do film and video and some audio and stuff like that.
But always behind the scenes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do in front. I love I'm a huge comedy fan, but I don't have any like real aspirations to like do comedy like Ted
It's also
Jones over
pretty
here.
embarrassing to admit that you want to be a comic. Like,
Is
I don't
it?
know about.
I don't think so.
To get over that hump, right? Like that, you're like,
Well, I just
oh yeah, people should listen to me.
right. You know, I think I actually started calling myself Ted instead of Teddy, and I think that was a big step for me.
That's like
You know what I
clowning.
mean?
Have you? Okay, so I took acting in college. I took a comedy course, and one of the weeks was clowning, like being a clown.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing with clowning is like you're yourself. You're yourself. Then you put your nose on, and you're the clown.
Right.
So you're Ted.
Yeah.
the clown.
I'm the fucking clown.
Yeah.
Better believe it.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good. But I mean, it's still, it's still the same person, but you just got the nose on you. You got the red nose
and
on
you can
you.
absolve yourself of embarrassing Teddy
Mm-hmm.
and just
Yeah,
embarrass
yeah,
Teddy.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of actually how I feel. So Pat, we're not changing subjects though, bro. So tell us
Okay.
a little bit about your love life. You got any plans this weekend, man? Do you got any dates with any girls?
No, it's too cold out for love right now.
Do you know how to get girls orgasms?
Not when it's 20 degrees out. I don't have. It's too cold for sex right now. Seriously, it's got to be like above 40 and like below 90 degrees.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna have sex, it's
No,
way.
I agree.
The
I have a
weather is too
very,
extreme.
Small threshold for comfort with weather.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No plans. Do you have any plans this weekend today? I'm just gonna throw
Are
it
you
right back at
looking
you.
real estate right now?
I didn't mean to.
Fuck.
No, I didn't mean to.
You were talking about my love life, man.
I
What the
didn't
hell?
mean to.
I have a Sexcellence Award from Cosmopolitan, and
Let's.
he's looking.
Do you actually an actual like stand?
No, it's
Oh.
just. it
Remy,
says-
I was not. You
No.
called me. It popped up on the screen. Just checking out apartments.
Turn off your pop-up
and
blocker,
also,
man.
and also, like I don't know if you ever use Street Easy, but every time you put in anything into Street Easy, it automatically sends you 400 emails. So now I just
I
have.
used to be a real estate agent.
Now, oh yeah, you were.
Yeah.
So now I just have Pat's like suggestion retails just flying to me. I'm like, Pat,
good.
here we got it. We got one bedroom for you. So what made you switch over from being a real estate broker to comedy? Besides the fact that like,
That's what I wanted to do
Yeah.
with my
Besides
life.
the fact that that's what you wanted to do. Weren't you convinced that maybe you could be a top real estate broker and make a ton of money?
I could have been,
Right.
and I made money, and I did not enjoy it, and I also felt like I was shysting people out of
remember
their
that.
funds all the time because I was like, Street Easy is quite easy, and you could do this yourself, and you're giving me 15% of
The lease,
sometimes
right?
like I've done no work. Sometimes I did a ton of work, and I definitely deserved it, but
Yeah.
sometimes I would be like, this is a dying business. Like, and no offense, but like, I just felt like I was like
No
cheating
offense. I'm
people
not
out of
broker.
money,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't like doing that. I don't even like making like money off of people now, even though like it is the name of the game. Like, I just want people to be happy and smile and come.
Laugh. So
Yeah.
so simple.
Yeah.
Smile, laugh, and come.
Yeah,
That is terrific. Remy, this has been more than fun.
more than fun.
So before we wrap it up here, Remy, I would like you to please plug anything that you are doing. Let us know when you are going to start putting out new episodes of How Come and when everybody needs to listen to how many episodes are there? 39?
In season 1, there's like 37. In season 2, there's 37 as well. But season 2 is much more about like other people and like their sexual proclivities and trying to make them feel more normal and just kind of like shining a light on stuff that a lot of people do that they think is quote unquote weird. Season 1 is my journey. The podcast is How Come with a U, C-U-M, How Come. I have another podcast called We Really Love Island. It's where me and my American comedian friends recap the British reality show phenomenon Love Island. We teach you British slang. It's very fun. We talk about relationships. It's more relationships than sex podcast.
Okay, so I'm on RemyKassimir.com actually.
Okay.
And Remy, are any of these girls here that have been, women here
Am I
who've
still
been on the
doing plugs,
podcast?
or is this
are they? Oh, sorry.
What's happening?
Well, I just wanted to know if any of your guests were single. Like any girls on here
I
who
don't know.
who I should slide in the DMs.
No, I don't stalk my guests.
Too late. I already am. I'm on the website.
Actually, Corinne Olympias from The Bachelor is recently single.
Who is that?
The blonde.
Oh,
one, right there.
ABC's The Bachelor. Corinne Olympias.
Yeah, she's single.
Oh, she's cute, but Corinne has never masturbated. That's her description.
She
had not.
And then on the episode, she got permission in real time from her boyfriend at the time. And she was like, "Isn't that gross? Don't girls not masturbate?" I'm like, no, whatever. Yeah, you should have asked me more about the podcast.
What? No. Can we please keep talking about it? I'm sorry. Wait, keep going. Tell us. Okay, what's the craziest episode that all of us watching here and listening need to listen to? Like, what's one to get us hooked onto the podcast? I've listened to a few, but I want to know which one I personally need to listen to, which one Pat needs to listen to, which one is the episode.
I mean, no, the journey is 1 through 6 of season 1. The craziest episode, I don't know, because I don't like to say any sex is crazy, because that puts like a
well, maybe not like crazy sex, but
what's a really good fun
from, like,
one?
an experience.
It's called Dirty Girl Privilege. It's
Dirty Girl Privilege.
Dirty Girl Privilege. It's about sex and hygiene, and my friends Andrea Allen and Emily Lubin from the Hot Mess Comedy Hour are on, and it is one of the most gut-busting episodes. It is
Remy, you have
favorite.
Sorry, excuse me. Just you have a terrific website. I must say,
Thank you.
This is insanely
Shout
well
out
done.
to my Pamela.
Jeez, good work. Sorry, keep going.
No.
So Remy was just plugging her podcast, and 1 through 6 is the journey. Terrific.
Should I finish the plugs?
Keep going.
Okay. If you want to come see me do stand-up, RemyKassimir.com has all of my dates. Follow me on Twitter, Remy Kassimir. Follow me on Instagram, Remy Kassimir. Facebook, Remy Kassimir. If you want to come to my brunch show every Sunday, 3 p.m., Bacon Bits at the Stand. Free bacon, $20 from unlimited mimosas. Come. It will be great.
You want me to get you the next one? January 24th, Gold at the Stand Comedy Club and Restaurant, 10 p.m.
Yep.
January 24th is which night? Friday night or Saturday night?
Yeah, that's Josh Weston's show.
Okay, yes,
That's
Josh
our
Weston.
boy.
Shout out Joshy. And then January 26th, Bacon Bits again. And then a show called Aggressively Chill at Cherry Tree in Brooklyn on
Alex Pichera's show.
January 29th. Sounds cool. Cobra Club. Night after that, January 30th in Brooklyn as well. 8:30 p.m. And then January 31st, you're doing Black Cat,
baby.
Okay, cool. I hope I'm doing that show too. 172 Rivington Street.
Yep,
Black Cat.
that's correct.
January 31st.
real
I have to look
estate
at Pat.
brain.
Just make sure that
He always look at me for things I don't know.
Just because if I look at you, I don't know. I feel like I also like if they're looking at us on the camera, they know that I'm not fully sure about what I'm saying.
Right.
It's always good, be transparent.
Yeah.
Great muffins at Black Hat.
Terrific again.
Yeah,
Shout out the muffins.
What
I don't know. I just
a
always
website.
find it funny that it's like 2 a.m. and they have muffins there
Yeah.
next to the beer. It's great.
I love that you're just like looking through my. I feel like you're going through my underwear.
Fully,
drawer.
yeah, I'm fully stalking Remy's website right now. I was on it before, but I didn't know it was this deep. I was on it via my phone, and now I'm on it via iPad. There's just like so much to check out here. RemyKassimir.com again. RemyKassimir.com. Very cool.
Ugh, I should have done .com.
Oh, you should have.
Missed
Do you think you
opportunity.
still
I
can?
don't know.
Check that out.
I'm gonna check that out.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. .com.
At RemyKassimir.com. Nice.
Yeah, I love that picture.
No, I mean, well, you can't see your feet in here.
Can't see my
Remy
feet
was
in that
worried about
one.
her feet.
No. I get a lot of DMs because of that shit.
Oh, can you just send me pictures of
Yes.
your feet? Pat and I were talking about this. How like females sometimes on Instagram just get DMs like, you just have to just take this money that I'm going to put into your bank account and spend it.
Yes.
Do you know?
I've been
do you know
offered
people like this.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Just to spend money or anything?
That they want me to fin dom them or be their like foot person, or whatever. I don't know. I was down honestly, and then I asked Ben, and he was like, "No, it's gonna open up a can of worms. Like I'd rather us have no money than foot money."
So it was just
you could probably get them to pay just for you to send them pictures of your feet.
I know he said
you
he's
can
not
do that.
comfortable with that.
Not that. Okay.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a gateway drug.
That's what he thinks. I don't agree, but I also I respect his boundaries.
Yeah.
So
right,
yeah. And he puts up with enough. With
right.
it, you know.
So actually watching the Netflix episode, as I said before, I think I know more. And listening to you right now, I feel like a changed man.
Yeah.
Pat, do you feel like a changed man over there? And honestly, all the dudes who made it through this episode, re-listen and really get to know your partner. Remy gave us a ton of good tips here, and us dudes, we really don't know much about the female anatomy. I mean, maybe you do if you studied it.
Women didn't either. That's the thing.
And it's crazy.
That internal structure of the clitoris, they only discovered that in 1998. People really did not care about the female sexual system. So yeah, it's mostly it's like women, educate yourselves on your body so you can make it easier for your partner.
Right.
If we can give you tools, that's so much nicer than everybody going in blind. And I used to think that guys went to a special sex school where they learned all the tricks and
learned to pump.
We would just sit back and be yeah, do whatever, you'll figure it out. No, you have to your orgasm's your responsibility. And if any guys want to learn how to give them better, there's a great book called She Comes First.
Is that what I saw Ben reading the other day on your Instagram?
Yep.
What a boyfriend.
Good boy.
Yeah, good boy.
And yeah, we interviewed Dr. Ian Kerner, who wrote the book, who's a psychologist. So yeah, listen to that, or yeah, you can listen to the audiobook, listen to How Come. And yeah, super excited for you guys to all orgasm together.
That's really great. Remy, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Episode 21, that was extremely lit. Check out Remy Kassimir's podcast, How Come, and check out her website, RemyKassimir.com. This was the Ted Jones World Podcast, episode 21. Have any questions for Remy? Hit us up, tedjonesworld@gmail.com. Hit us up on IG at Ted Jones World. You want to see where we're at? Just check out the story. Pat, take us out.
Sorry.
Oh,
can I add
go ahead.
No, we're done. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Just kidding.
If you want to follow How Come, it's on Instagram and
Yes.
Twitter at How
Excuse
Come
me.
Podcast. We Really Love Island also on those platforms.
And they also have a ton of questions that you can just ask during the day and see where people are coming in with answers. Remy just will put questions there yes or no.
Ton of
or
polls.
yes, exactly. Sorry.
Yeah.
A ton of polls. So it's also cool to just see polls and answer in ways that you'd think are correct, and then you're just completely wrong. So that's also another way you learn
correct.
shit.
Everyone's a snowflake.
Wait, what if
Everyone is different.
What if you're
Well said.
You
Well
said you're
said.
just for the listeners. I want to make sure they're able to find you. You said you're shadow banned a lot. What if you're shadow banned currently? Is there a way to? Do you have a link in your?
in my bio.
in your bio?
How Come
Okay.
Podcast. But
yeah.
if you just type out the whole thing, How Come Podcast.
Oh, it'll still work.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Terrific. Remy, thank you so much. I'm going to be knowing you for the next 20 years and 20 years after that and 20 years after that and 20 years after that to we're 100 years old. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, take us out. Pat, thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
You're welcome.